I'm a college professor by profession. That's kind of my background, so I'm used to people not paying out that much attention. So I like to start my presentations with a quotation. And this one comes from Mark Twain. And he says, the difference between the right word and the almost right word is the difference between lightning and a lightning bug. I love that. Right? The right word and the almost right word. That's the power of effective communication. And that's really what I'm here to tell you a little bit about. Thanks so much, Don, for the intro. That was great. I just want to tell you a little bit about me. I know you've seen me all weekend, and I've told you tiny little bits about myself and shared a few little stories. And I talk a lot in stories. And the reason why I do that and why telling stories from the stage is a very effective way to present is because we as human beings, that's how we relate. We relate by telling stories. When you have an opportunity to tell a story, you have an opportunity to give someone some context and to create a relationship and a bond. And whenever you are speaking, when you get in front of people, when you're on a stage, whether you're on a telephone and you're talking one-on-one with someone, you meet someone just one-on-one and you're having lunch, share a story. People will remember those stories before they remember the facts and the check mark things. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So I'm going to share with you some stories today, and maybe give you a little bit of wisdom from my communication files. I hope that's okay with you. So we'll start off a little bit with who I am. First and foremost, I'm a mom. I have two little girls. They're 4 and 7, Gracie and Miranda, and they're home in Chicago. And I'm married. I'll be married 9 years next week or so. Okay. Whatever that means, right? And I am a professional speaker. I've been doing this. I've been a speaker literally my whole life. I started when I was 7. So, you know, about the last 10 years. Every job I've ever had involved me standing up and speaking. I was a competitive speaker in high school. Throughout college, I received, students receive scholarships to go to college to play sports and for their academics. I got a scholarship because I was a speaker. I went to the #1 speaking college in the country. It was Bradley University in Peoria, Illinois. We were national champions for 15 years in a row, and I was a national champion speaker on that team. So I know a little something about public speaking. I've been trained my whole life in speaking skills. And as I said, every job I've ever had involved me standing up in some way, shape, or form and doing some teaching, some training, some sales, a lot of sales actually, and educating people in certain things. But my big dream my whole life was to be a teacher. That's all I ever wanted to do. It was my favorite game. When I was 6 years old, they said, what do you want to play? School, but only if I could be a teacher. It was my favorite game. I loved it. And so when I was in college, I told my advisor, I was pretty sure I didn't want to teach the little kids. Because, that takes a special kind of love. Teaching the little ones. And I remember being in high school, and there was just a lot of drama. I don't know what drama. Who needs it, right? So I thought teaching college would be really cool. So I'm telling my college advisor this, and he said, oh, no, honey, don't do that. Just go get yourself a real job. And I listened to him. 19 years old, I let a stranger steal my dream. Have you ever let anybody steal your dream? It's a bad place to be. Well, I'm a dreamer and a doer, and I didn't let that rob me for too long. Not too long after college, I had a job for a couple of years in advertising and sales, and then I found my way back to the academic world. I was working at a university, and when you work for a university, they pay you pretty much peanuts. So they give you an opportunity to get an education for free. So that's when I got my first master's degree. After I had my first master's degree, they had a class there, public speaking. I got to finally live my dream, to teach a public speaking class at college. I loved it. It was so cool. It was so much fun. You can't imagine somebody getting so excited about teaching public speaking to college students who couldn't care one way or another if they were in the room. But I did. I loved it. It was so much fun. So I had the bug, so I got on the phone and I called all these schools in the Chicago area and I said, I have a master's degree in adult education and training. I'd love to teach your people public speaking skills. And they said, well, do you have a degree in public speaking? I said, no. But you have to have a degree in public speaking or communication. So I didn't let that stop me. I went back and I got my second master's degree in communication. When you want something, you do what you have to do to get it.
Right.
Bottom line, when you want something, you do what you have to do to get it. I was working full time. I had just gotten engaged to be married, so I was planning a wedding. I was working a full-time job, and I was going to school in a very rigorous, traditional academic program, and graduated at the top of that class with my second master's degree, which was so fun. And so, you know, I've had a lot of successes, a lot of great, cool things happen in my life. So, a little bit about who you are. And one of the things I like to do as I'm teaching is I kind of step out of my speech a little bit and say, okay, this is what I'm doing and this is why, in case you're ever in the same position where you have to stand in front of people. So every time you speak to an audience, one of the things you need to keep in mind is that every single human being has a need to feel, Mark touched on this morning, I started to choke up, has a need to feel heard, understood, and cared about. They want to know that somebody gets them, that somebody knows who they are. And so you always want to make sure that your audience, we use the word audience in communication. Audience could mean just me talking to you. You're my audience and we're sitting and we're having a cocktail together, right? Or an audience like this, okay? That's what we use in communication. So whoever, you want your audience to know that you know who they are. So I know who you are. You're entrepreneurs. You have a mindset of people who want to create something in the world that's your own. You want to help people with your message. You want to impact the world. You want to do it in a way that allows you the freedom and flexibility to live your life the way you want to live it. You want to make some money. Does anybody want to make some money?
Yeah.
Really? Because I'm going to make a lot of money. You're going to make a lot of money?
Yes.
Let's do that. All right. So did I get? Am I close?
Yeah.
Am I close? Kind of know a little bit about who you are. Okay. So understanding that is important. All right. You know, I gotta say, I'm really excited to be here. Thanks, Ken, for having me. I'm excited actually to be anywhere.
That's right.
Because 4.5 years ago, I almost died.
Oh,
Wow.
I nearly lost my life in childbirth.
oh wow.
Wow.
It was the most painful, horrific experience of my entire life. Imagine for a minute, if you would. I know you're eating, but if you could just indulge me for a moment. Close your eyes. And imagine, if you would, the life of your dreams. Imagine your dream house, what that looks like, where that is. Imagine having the family that you want, being married to the person who is your partner in life. Imagine doing your dream work, impacting the people around you with your message. So quiet for a minute. Picture what that looks like. Breathe with me. You can open your eyes. That's where I was 4.5 years ago. I had just bought my dream house. I had a 2.5-year-old little girl at the time. I was pregnant with our little one. 7 months pregnant. I hadn't slept in my new bed for 7 days in a row. When I woke up in the middle of the night with a horrible pain that I knew wasn't right. So off we rushed to the emergency room. And I learned about a disease called HELP syndrome. It stands for hemolysis, elevated liver, low platelets. Basically, if Dr. Mike was here, he would tell you that means that my blood was turning toxic and my liver was ready to explode. I was within 4 hours of that happening and of death. When they found out what it was, they had to do it a literal emergency C-section to deliver my baby and save her life and mine at the same time. If you've ever been in an operating room, you'll know what I'm talking about. It was freezing. I was in massive pain for 36 hours leading up to that point because this disease is a disease that affects less than 1% of all pregnant women. That was the lottery I won that day. And so there I was. They finally realized what it is. We have to deliver this baby now. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. And I remember lying in the operating room. It was freezing cold. Naked. Activity everywhere. And there was a nurse on one side, a nurse on the other side, and the anesthesiologist by my head. All three of them were trying to run an IV into my body. They kept sticking needles into me. It wasn't working. And finally the anesthesiologist said, "Oh, forget it," and jabbed me in the neck. Oh. And then he said, "Oh, that's going to be a hematoma." I didn't know what a hematoma was, but later I learned that it meant that I was going to have a bruise. But instead of bruising out, it would bruise in. And because of where it bruised in, it was so close to my windpipe that they were worried that I wasn't going to be able to breathe. And so the next thing I remember is waking up, not being able to open my eyes or move a muscle in my body. And I remember thinking, my God, I'm in a coma. I could hear people around me and I'm screaming to myself, "Open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes." Okay, move a toe, move a finger. Nothing. And that sound that I heard over and over and over again was shh, shh, shh. It was a ventilator. They had a machine breathing for me. And in that moment, I want to introduce you to my husband. He said, "Oh, look, her face is twitching." Because I found one muscle I could move. It was this one. It looked like this. I'm moving my one face. I'm so excited. I moved this one muscle. I was so excited. And he said, "Look." And the nurse said, "Oh, that's normal for anesthesia patients." And he said, "All right, well, I'm going to go eat." No. That's my husband. He likes to go eat. So he left me there. Alone. To go eat. And I finally was able to open my eyes and start to communicate. Not so much. So that was a really hard time for me. As you can imagine, I went back a few months later to the midwife who was part of the whole team of doctors who saved my life, and she said, "You know, your birth was traumatic for me." And that's when I realized I needed some help. So it took a year to overcome that, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. And when I did, I looked around and I said, "I am still here." Why am I still here? Why are you still here? That's the most important question. Why are you here? Think about that. Think about that right now. Why are you here? You're here for a reason. Maybe you didn't almost die at some point in your life. But we're all here for a reason. Okay? So think about that. That's when my business was born. That's when I decided. You know the feeling.
Yeah, I almost died in 87. A lady hit me in my driver door on the way to my mom's funeral. I woke up 6 days later.
A lady hit you in the driver door on your way to your mom's funeral.
You got like a 9 back on her.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying.
You know, we all have our stories. Remember what I said about connecting through story? Okay, we all have our stories. So, I'm going to share with you my passion today. It's about effective communication, because when you can connect with people, you can change your life. I'm looking at my slides here because I see some things that I would have talked about if you could see them. So we're going to talk about just 3 things today. because I'm going to bring this down to your business. One of the things I like to do, and one of the things that my college students always say about my class is that, it was really cool because she actually gave us stuff that we could use. It wasn't a bunch of theory and junk. Okay? So that's what I do, is I teach a bunch of stuff you can use without a lot of theory and junk. So we're going to talk about 3 things. We're going to talk about credibility and cash flow. That's my main talk. And we're going to talk about confidence. How can you communicate your confidence effectively? Then we're going to talk about the number 1 skill that most people say is the most important skill you should have in your business in terms of communication. So think about what you think that might be. We're going to talk about that. All right, so credibility and cash flow, these are the 3 C's of credibility. Now, you all heard me tell the story yesterday if you were in the room about Ken calling me up and sharing that. It was so cool. But actually, I was on that stage at my very first event. In fact, before Ken invited me up. I didn't tell that part of the story yet. Jim was there. You were there. Wasn't that cool? It was really fun. So we're there, and Frank was there. I don't know if Frank was in the room at the time, but there was a process. You all saw Simon speak yesterday, Simon Leon. And Joel Crum, if you know Joel, he also teaches Google AdWords. At the time, he was really teaching a lot of Google AdWords. He's done other things, or AdSense, I should say. And Simon's AdWords. So they were going to do a bonus session after hours, the 2 sides of Google. So they were kind of struggling with the video, audio stuff, and so all the speakers were standing up, all in a line. And they said, you know what, while we're waiting for this, let's take some questions. So people in the audience were raising hands. And they were asking questions, and one woman said, it was Christy Sales. I don't even know who it was, because I went over and said, she said, how can you be credible? How can you show your credibility? I was like, oh, yes. Because at that moment, I had been delivering my speech, Credibility and Cash Flow, my signature speech, I call it, for over a year. I knew the answer. I knew the answer. And so I heard these esteemed speakers give their answers. They're pretty good. They're smart guys. But they didn't have the answer. And so I'm on the edge of my chair. I'm in the audience, just like you all are. I'm on the edge of my seat, and I'm thinking. So I very sheepishly, I'm not really a sheepish person, but I was not speaking, and I wasn't about to rush the stage. And I said, I know the answer. Could I say something? Check them on up. Because we're the internet marketing crowd, a lot different, depends on the community, but this was a very friendly and welcoming community. Come on up. Give me a microphone. Now, they had no idea who I was, that I had been a speaker for 30 years. No idea. So I get the microphone. I say, I know I can help you with the answer to your questions. There's 3 C's of credibility. And I'm going to share with you what those are right now, and then I'll finish the story. So the first C of credibility is called competence. Competence. And this is not my definition, by the way. These definitions come from a book called Understanding Human Communication. The authors are Adler and Town. And in that book, they say that competence is your expertise in the topic. So how can you show people, I'm going to open this up for you all to answer. How can you show people that you're an expert? What can you do to let people know that you're an expert? What do you think?
Testimonials.
Testimonials. Excellent. What else?
Write books.
Write a book. There you go. Yeah.
Credentials.
Credentials. Share your credentials. Absolutely. Thanks for that.
Use traffic geyser.
Show examples. Use traffic. Actually, here's a cool little thing. I'm going to be in Cosmo, the magazine, not like as a cover girl. I'm going to be in Cosmo in December because somebody Googled my keywords. I came up on page 1 of Google. Cosmo called. Hello, Cosmo calling. Could you be an expert for a column, for a story for us about telling stories? Why, yes, I can.
Yeah.
So if you can get yourself using Traffic Geyser at the top, you get some good stuff. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, and they know you're an expert because I'm all over the web for my keywords. They click on any of my links, they land on my site, they can see that I know what I'm talking about because I got all the stuff on there that's all related to my keywords and the things I talk about, right? So excellent. All right, so that's competence. The second is character. The definition of character is your audience's perception. Your audience's perception of your character. I'm trying to do this from memory without a note. Is your honesty and impartiality. Your honesty and impartiality. How can you let people know that you're honest? How can you do that?
Look them in the eye.
Look them in the eye. But you're on the internet. How do you look people in the eye on the internet?
Video.
That's on video.
I knew you guys would get that. Let me tell you what. I asked that question in other rooms, and people go, "What? Huh?"
It's absolutely true.
It's absolutely true. In fact,
You make billions from it.
you the best way to make eye contact on the internet is through video, and you want to look directly into the camera and pretend that camera is someone's eyes, because it is. When people land on your page and they see your video, or they go to YouTube and they see your video, they see you looking directly into the camera at them and they feel like you're talking to you. Yes, sir?
I would just make one point, if I
Yes.
can do what you did. When you're looking into that camera and you have a really special point, you lean forward and you tell them, now listen to this.
Your eyes will be, you'll blink.
It's a powerful way to create a connection, because we believe that our eyes are our windows to the soul, and if someone is looking in our eyes, how can they be lying? They must be honest, right? All right. So the third C of credibility then is charisma. Charisma is the audience's perception of your speakers or your enthusiasm. Woohoo! Your enthusiasm and likability. Your enthusiasm and likability. So what can you do to show people that you're enthusiastic, that you're likable? You can say woo-hoo. But what if you're not a woo-hoo kind of person? Because not everybody's like that.
Your body language.
Body language. Yep.
Smile.
Say again?
Smile.
Smile. Smile and laugh. When you make a mistake, who cares? Who cares? Right? Not doing brain surgery up here. Doesn't matter. Smile and laugh. Okay? When you can laugh at yourself, other people will laugh at you. Okay, smiling and laughing. Be passionate about what you do, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. Be passionate. Be excited about what you do. If you're not excited when you get out of bed, if you're not excited when you turn that computer on, you fire it up, you sit down and look at your messages that come in, get out of this business and go find something you love. Really, get out of it, or find a piece of it that you really love and be there and own it. Okay. So those are the 3 C's of credibility. Let's see how we're doing this time.
And so did you blow them all away then?
So I talked about that, right? I did my 3 C's. I did that. I did a much more condensed than we just did right there. And so at the end, these guys are all saying it. Now these are kind of big deal speakers, you know, millionaire guys. I was standing down here at the end. I had a little microphone, and Joel Comm is down the other end. There are 2 microphones, and Joel leans over, and they're all leaning like this. And Joel goes, "And who are you?" You'll know soon enough. So that was my first internet marketing conference. I was on stage. Jim.
Just to add to that story,
Yeah.
because again, I saw it from a unique perspective. The day I was there, that was my first event too. I'd flown from, I live in Ontario, Canada, to attend the event, because I knew Eric Stafford. He invited me up, and I was there, and literally, within days, because I'm on all these internet marketing newsletters, within days, I'm getting multiple emails from the speakers talking about a teleseminar that they've lined up with this incredible person, Felicia, and how they have to be on the call. Like, I mean, and it wasn't just 1 or 2 emails. I mean, literally, I got them from Eric Stafford, Willie Crawford. Like, I mean, these are huge names, and it was all because she took that chance. Like, and you were chomping at the bit. As soon as that question came out, it's like you know, who's shaking? Like this. But again, because it was so it was the perfect opportunity. And a lot of us, those opportunities are out there, but we don't either recognize it or we're scared. Like, I mean, sometimes we don't want everyone to be looking at us. But Felicia's exact opposite. You know, it was like she was a kid in a candy store, and it's like, and like, I mean, literally, it was probably like one of the most defining moments, like, I mean, of your professional career.
Absolutely.
And that's because you had the guts and delivered on the answer. You could have given a bad answer, and the story would be completely
And it's
different.
done, right? The story's
But
over.
she nailed it.
That's her passion.
Well, and it's because that was my signature speech. I've been delivering that speech over and over and over again. You never ever know when you're going to have the opportunity when Ken McArthur's going to call your name and say, come on up and say something.
You still don't know, do you?
I never know. All I know is I need to be in the room when Ken is speaking because I could end up with a microphone, and that's always a good thing. So, yeah, one of the things that I want to encourage you to do is if you haven't put together a speech to market your business, going and you're not in your community doing that, you absolutely need to do it. It throws your credibility through the roof. When you are the person standing in front of the room, who's the expert in the room? Right? And even better, you don't have to do your own marketing. The people who invite you to come and speak, they market you. I had Willie Crawford doing my marketing. You think that would be cool if Willie Crawford would do your marketing?
And then upload the video to Traffic Guys?
And then upload the video. Exactly.
It always comes back to traffic.
It always you have to. So, I mean, it's so cool. But you've got to have that speech ready to deliver at a moment's notice. I didn't know I was going to be here. Wednesday night, I get an email from Ken. Hi. I think you might be able to speak. Let me think, yes. He doesn't even have to ask, he knows. And at the last event, I was at the event. He came over to me and my friend Bob, the teacher Jenkins, some of you know Bob. And he said, you know, you guys are here, do you think you maybe can fill in because a couple of the speakers did something I wasn't sure they were going to do? Literally, like tomorrow, I'm at an event. Can you speak? Sure. And we put together something and it was cool. It was fun. So, you know, you want to have a core message that you know and you can deliver to your audience. And then you need to show up to places where your audience is hanging out. You got to show up to places where they are. If you're not, yes, you definitely want to get professional development for sure. But the other place you need to be hanging out, the other place you need to be going to events and networking meetings and so forth is where are the people that you serve? What are they doing? Go where they are and meet with them, interact with them. That's what the power of communication is all about. So let's talk a little bit about the next piece I wanted to cover. The one proven ability of all successful people is overcoming adversity. You can overcome adversity. You can do anything. So I told you my story about the adversity I had to overcome. You heard your story about the adversity you had to overcome. So think about, what were some of the tough times you had to come through in your life? You're still here. You've got a message to share. You want to draw from that experience and realize that you are a person of immense power. If you have come through any adversity in your life, you are a person of immense power. Draw on that power. And confidently communicate your message. When you communicate confidently, I didn't just get up on the stage and say, well, you know, I think it could be, you might want to try. You own it. It's your message. You own it. And if you're not so sure, if you're a little on the inside thinking, you've got that voice that says, who do you think you are? Does anybody have that voice? I do. It's mother. Who do you think you are? Telling people you're an expert. Who do you think you are? Saying that to people. Pretend it's not there and say, you know what, shut up. Go away. I know who I think I am. I'm somebody who's got a message that other people need to hear. And if they don't hear it, think about this. If there are people that never hear your message, what happens? How many kids will never learn to love music if they don't hear your message? Right? And how impactful can that be if you can teach preschoolers who want to play on the iPhone, on their mommy's iPhone, and they want to learn how to play piano? You could be inspiring the next concert pianist. How cool is that? And what if you decide to listen to that voice that says, who do you think you are? And that concert pianist never lives their dream. They never find their inner brilliance because you weren't confident enough to share your message. If you haven't created your first product yet, if you haven't put your first squeeze page up, if you haven't started to share your message through video, through articles, you need to do that now. After this conference, that should be the first thing that you do, is put together a plan. And the plan should not be a 6-month plan to put up a squeeze page, you know what I'm saying? This needs to be like, okay, Monday, by Friday it's done. Turn the video camera on and talk to it. Put together a few of your ideas, your top 10 tips, or your top 10 mistakes that people make doing something in your world. Put it out in the world and let people start to hear your message. You need to do it confidently. So, 3 steps to becoming more confident. Number 1, you can learn a skill. Really simple. Learn how to do something. I am the least likely person in the world to have a business on the internet. Is anybody else not a technical lover like me? Anybody technophobe? Huge. I'm a huge technophobe. I have my iPhone, so excited. I got this in June. Before June, I didn't even know how to text message. I'm not kidding. Okay? I'm not a technical person at all. But I realize if I'm a mom and I want to have my business out of my house so I can be home with my girls and I can go be the preschool room mom and go to the parties at school and go on every single field trip with my kids, I gotta use the internet to get my message out. You do what you have to do to reach your goals. I had to learn how to use it. So I learned what I needed to learn, and I hired other people to do the rest. I don't need to know HTML. I have no idea, 0 idea how the Microsoft Word file that I send to my VA gets on my website. No idea. I don't care. I don't care how it gets there. I care that my message is out there for people to see. That's what you want to do. So learn what you need to learn, and then outsource the rest. We saw so much about outsourcing, so much. And that's why the International Virtual Assistants Association sponsored me to be here. I'm a huge advocate for live where you are, live in your brilliance, and then hire other people to do their brilliance. Don't ruin your life in the minutia of junk that you don't need to worry about. Live in your brilliance, share your message, and let other people live in their brilliance and share theirs. Okay? So learn a skill, but learn what you need to learn. Read success stories. I love reading stories of other people who have done what you want to do. It's inspiring because you hear a lot about universal laws and whatever. But there's if someone has done something, that means it can be replicatable. If someone has achieved something, it can happen again, right? If someone has achieved something, it can happen again. So when you read stories of people who have come through amazing adversity, when people who have whatever it is, who have lost lots and lots of weight, who have achieved amazing feats, if that one person has done it, it means it can be done. It opens the realm of the possible. You need to be reading stories that open your realm of what's possible. That's why I love the testimonials section of people's presentations, because you see the realm of what's possible. And you realize, even if you don't reach exactly that, you can step into part of it. How cool is that? So hearing about success stories, reading success stories, that can help you to become more confident. Hey, if that person can do it, and a lot of times, do you ever feel like this? Wow, that person can do it. They're really messed up. I can do it, right? So if you do that, get a mentor, please. Get somebody who's where you want to be. Maybe 2 or 5 or 10. But really get somebody who's where you want to be, who knows what you need to know, and listen to them. Just get somebody who's there. That will get you there faster, quicker, more efficiently. Can you do it by yourself? Sure you can. It'll take you a really long time. And if you want to wait a long time to allow the world and the people who need to hear your message to get there, it's a shame, because there's going to be a lot of people who don't get to hear your message in the moment that they need it. The faster you get to where you can be, the faster you get your message to the world, the more people you can help and impact and create and change lives. So get a mentor. All right, this is not something I typically do. Apparently I've been doing it more lately. shared the stage earlier this year with my friend Bob Jenkins, Bob the teacher, and I like to be on stage. Can you tell?
I think it's great.
Have you had fun this weekend? It's been good. Presentations have been great, haven't they?
Yes.
So I typically don't invite other people up because it's my thing.
You don't like to share.
Sharing is nice. But you all heard from Dave Steck today, and he mentioned about his happiness quotient. You did, and you didn't get to it.
I only had 10 pounds of shit to put in a 5-pound
Right.
bag.
And so, I want to thank Mark for bringing Dave up and sharing some time, your time you shared. So I was inspired to share. I want to bring Dave up, and as he's coming up, come on up, Dave. I want to share with you. I was
No, you've already done that once.
Dave and I met earlier this year, January in fact, at Dave Lacani's event.
December, but who's keeping track? December.
Be sharing less in the future.
Should we share this in the future? No.
Don't tease me unless you mean it.
Or start. So we met in January at Dave Lacani's event, and I got to tell you, the learning a skill thing, once you learn it, continue to learn. Dave Lacani is a professional speaker. It was an event to teach people public speaking. Do you think somebody who's a public speaking professor needs that? Probably not, right? Yeah, I do. If you know Alex Mendozian, we're friends with Alex. If you know Alex, he talks about having a beginner's mind. You can always learn more. And when Dave personally called me and he said, would you come to this event? Lacani, and I said, well, the other day, Lacani. And I said, first, I hung up the phone and went, woohoo! Let me check my calendar. If I get somebody to watch my kids, I'll be there. It was a week before the event, so I got to go, and it was so cool because Dave and I connected, and we had lunch together, and we were sitting at this table, and Dave is in real estate. There were 2 other guys in real estate. I know nothing about real estate except I bought like 3 houses in my life, and I've lived in them. That's what I know. They had this fascinating conversation. I just sat there and I thought, wow, there's so much in the world. It was just the way that he connected and the information that he had to share was just so powerful and so cool. And so we talked, we've talked a lot.
We have.
And created a cool connection. And my first name, Felicia, does anybody know what it means? It comes from the Latin felicitas. It means happiness. That's why my name was chosen for me. It kind of fits, don't you think? Yeah. I'm a happy person. So when Dave said he had a happiness quotient, I said, okay, you're up, go.
This has been a morning of impromptus. I'll tell you, everything that I do every day, because I don't have to do anything. I've earned the right over the course of my life to get to the point where I don't have to do anything. So I can do anything I want every day, and everything I do every day fits in one of 3 buckets. And I recommend you have this bucket list. I call it the happiness quotient. If it doesn't fit in one of these 3 buckets, I just don't do it. Because I'm just not going to do it anymore. We were talking a little earlier. When I was 21, I was starting my life. Today, I'm starting the beginning of the rest of my life. And it's a lot shorter than when I was 21, and I'm only going to do what I want to do. That's it. So here's what it is. I have fun, I make money, and I do good. If it doesn't fit one of those 3 buckets, then it doesn't make me happy, and I am not going to do it. But it's got to start with making money. Because there are over 3 million people last year that were foreclosed upon. And do you think that they're having a lot of fun or doing a lot of good right now? Probably not. So if you don't have money, if you don't have the ability to increase your output financially, it's hard to do good and it's hard to have fun. So I always recommend make as much money as you can and then do as much good and have as much fun as you can. And it therefore focuses on money. Now, not to say that you need to be, remember we talked about uncontrolled greed earlier? You don't need to be uncontrolled greed, but you do need to be greedy. I think greedy is a good thing. I think it's wanting more for yourself or other people you care for. And in fact, Warren Buffett says, Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. Now, do you think most people are fearful or greedy right now?
Fearful.
Fearful. And I am one greedy guy. This is the time to make money. I am buying America while it's on sale. I am buying companies. I'm buying real estate. I buy a house a day. I grew up in a trailer for the first 12 years of my life, and the prospects of me ever having a home were slim and none, and now I buy a home a day. So now the question is, what do you do with that? Well, you do a lot of good, and you have a lot of fun. So it starts with making money, and there are three. Imagine that there is a triangle, and at the top is accumulating wealth. Over here is generating cash, and over here is keeping as much of both as you can. Well, you can't really accumulate wealth till you generate cash. So that really has to be your focus. Generate cash, generate income as much and as fast as you can with the least amount of liability and the most amount of, or the lack of brain damage. You know, that's one of the reasons I like the internet. And you guys have forgotten more than I'll ever know about the internet. But I was the CEO of an internet company, and it was the first time I early retired, because in a year, I knew how to run a business. And I knew something that other people, I think, didn't know. And that was, I wasn't successful because I was a CEO. I was successful because I was a CNO. I was a Chief Networking Officer. And that's why I got successful. Because I could find the right employees, I could find the right partners, the right clients, the right board of advisors and board of directors, and people who helped me get to where I was going quicker. I was a Chief Networking Officer. But I had to focus on really fewer relationships because I couldn't manage everybody. So once I figured that out, then I just got everybody together and I said, we're going to make an embarrassing, ungodly, obscene amount of money, and then we're going to figure out what to do with it. But first, let's make it. And so we focused on generating cash. And this was during the original days of the internet, when it was all about eyeballs and no one was monetizing the internet. And I'd go out to a VC and they'd write me a check for $3.5 million, and I couldn't tell them how I was going to make money, but I'd get a lot of eyeballs there. Well, now it's a lot different. And so now you got to focus on monetizing, and that's it. And if you can monetize and generate cash or income, you can then invest it to accumulate wealth, and then you can set up entities like I have to both protect myself from a liability standpoint should anything ever happen in real estate, and pay no taxes. Now, is that sweet? Oh, yes. That's the part that gets edited out. Because there are ways to just be smarter with money, and many of you know that, and many of you don't know the things I know, and I don't know at all. In fact, I was just mentioning it to Ken earlier. I got news for you. I don't know where Bin Laden is. I just don't know. In fact, I do not know how to keep everybody from crossing our borders. I just can't figure it out. I don't know anybody or anything about healthcare or that problem in Washington. But I know real estate, I know how to make money, and I know the internet, or at least I know people who know those things. And if you've just got a few people who are focused on a happiness quotient, and are committed to you and committed to themselves to have fun, make money, and do good, not even for themselves, but for their family and people they don't even know. 90% of you I didn't even know till I showed up here. My hope is that you found one thing from somebody that will make a difference in your life, or you've met one person who will make a difference in your life. Because if you take a lot of copious notes and go home and do nothing, or you buy a lot of products and they're back on your shelf hermetically sealed in a year from now, you didn't do anybody any good, and you forced me to waste oxygen on you. My goal is for you to do something. My goal is for you to pick one thing and run with it. And if you do it, if it's the happiness quotient, and if it's the money triad, that pays for the price of admission. And I'm not selling anything. Dave Steck, thanks for listening.
You're so cool. Thanks. Okay. Thank you so much, Dave. All right, so I mentioned earlier the number one skill that you need to be successful in business, the number one communication skill. I'm going to tell another story. Here we go. A few months back, I want to say February, March timeframe, I write a newsletter to my subscribers. It goes out every other Wednesday. And I don't know, is anybody busy? Anybody busy? Sorry. So I'm, crazy busy with my hair on fire. And I realized, oh, it's Wednesday. I got to get this newsletter up and out. And I mentioned, I have no idea how that happens. So I have to actually write it and get it to my assistant who does all the prettying up and the clicking of the send button. So I have to write this thing. I thought, all right, well, I'll just grab, because I write articles regularly, so I just grabbed an article that I had written and sent it to her and said, can you check the archives to make sure we hadn't sent this out? And she said, oh, this was one we used. And I thought, I was not being inspired in that moment. I love to write. I'm a content creator. But, it's like somebody goes, okay, write something now. I don't know what to say. So I thought, what am I going to do? Well, I love Twitter. I love it. I just love my tweets. So I thought, okay, I'm going to ask Twitter. So I went on to Twitter and I put out a tweet and I said, tweets, I need your help. If you had to choose one important communication skill that you know will make you successful, what would it be? What do you think they said? Go ahead, what do you think? The one communication skill that'll help you be successful. Oh, come on. Really?
Storytelling.
Confidence? Storytelling? Say again? Empathy? Networking? The number one overwhelming answer, I've got about 15,000 followers now. I want to say at the time I maybe had 8,000 to 10,000. The number one response I had, literally within 30 seconds, listening. Listening. Number one answer. Listening. Listen, it's the cornerstone to success. Listening leads to ideas, innovations, improvements, customer satisfaction. Paul Klein says, my choice for the one important skill is to listen to your customer subscriber. If I could choose one skill, it would be to listen empathetically. And that was in big, huge words. So empathy is another huge skill. I did get, actually from that, I got a list of 9, and I added my own for the 10th. And wrote my article, and it was written by Twitter in about 3 minutes. So if you ever have to do what you have to do to get to where you want to be, I needed to have an article written. What did I do? Twitter. All I did was copy and paste the tweets. Look, this is what they said. How cool is that? I had a list. I filtered them down. There were 9 things. I said, oh, I don't like a list of 9. Let me throw one more on there. There's 10. Done. Here you go. Send it out.
Did you give them the credit for it?
Of course. Never plagiarize. No, in public speaking, you always give the credit to other people. In fact, that's one of the things that makes you look like an expert, huh? Giving credit to other people makes you look like an expert. Think about it. Earlier, I mentioned that the definitions of competence and character and charisma came from a textbook. Did that make me look like I know less about communication? No more, because I know the book to go to find the answers in. Right? When you know where to go to find the answers, you are the obvious expert in that area. So it's another way to show that you're competent. So absolutely, I always give credit. I give credit to every source, because honestly, is there anything new under the sun? I don't think so. So where did you hear something? Where did you learn something? Share where that came from. Okay? Let people know that. So listening is huge. I've got 5 tips for listening and internet marketing. Because you guys are internet marketers, right? Number 1, know your audience. Know your market. Okay? Know who is it? Who do you serve? Who are the people who can best use your message? Excuse me. And then number 2, step 2, go where they are. Here I am. Hi. Okay, go where they are. Where are they hanging out? Number 3, listen to them. Pay attention. What are they talking about? What are they complaining about? What is it? What's their pain? What hurts them? What is hurting them the most right now? Pay attention to that. Number 4, pay very close attention. Because number 5, take action on what they say. This is how I've made a lot of money. I'm a member of different forums and different groups of people who are in my target market. And a year or so ago, they were they were talking about how, gosh, I've had my business on the internet for a while. Some people 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And I'm doing everything they say I should be doing, but I'm just not getting anywhere. What am I doing wrong? Maybe I need to quit. And I thought, no. I can help you with that. I knew the answer. I could help them. And so, literally, that was on a Thursday night. On Friday, I said, hey, I know the answer to that. Would you guys be interested in a teleseminar if I showed you that? And they were like, yes. I had the sales page up by Monday. I made $3,000 by the end of the week. I taught the class the following week. If you can make $3,000 in a week, can you get excited about $3,000 in a week? Dave, don't raise your hand. He just threw up. She said a lot of money and then 3,000 what? But you know, to a mom who's working out of my house, that just paid my mortgage. And then some. Paid my mortgage and fed my kids. By paying attention and listening to what my market said was a pain that I knew I could fix. It was so fun. So take action on what they say. I've created an effective communication business model, which is in my my new book, Cash In on Communication. I'm so excited. And in fact, Michelle, I put some information about my book right there. They're upside down. Would you mind grabbing those back there, just so that people can see them? And it's looks like somebody bit this. How funny is that? Apparently, I was hungry. So anyway, I'm really excited. I just got the cover graphic for this. The foreword was written by somebody you might know, Ken McArthur. He wrote the foreword to the book. And it's how small and home-based business owners can use the power of effective communication to succeed. And what I've done was I created a model, and I said, okay, with this model, if you think of yourself as the center of your business, because when you have a small business, you are the center of your business. You need two inherent things. You need credibility, and you need confidence. If you're not credible, people aren't going to put up their money to buy anything from you, right? If they don't believe what you have can help them, they're not going to give you money. So you've got to be believable. You've got to be credible. The second thing you need is confidence, because confidence instills credibility, boosts your credibility. When you're confident, people go, you must know what she's talking about. She sounds like it. Okay, so confidence and credibility are the two things that you need. Then outside of that are a lot of these other pieces that you can do to get your message out to the world. Videos, articles, public speaking, joint ventures, affiliates, face-to-face communication, in-person networking, all these different pieces, but it's all effective communication. People have said to me, Felicia, you came out of nowhere. How is it that you're on so many stages? How is it that I see your name everywhere? It's not an accident. It's not an accident. Because I use what I know about communication to get my message out to the world. There were different skills I needed to learn. I needed to learn how to write articles in a way that I could make sure that I'm maximizing my results. I needed to learn what's the best way to get my videos out there to the world. And guess what? There's a really efficient way to do a lot of these things, Traffic Geyser. So you want to make sure that you know those pieces, you're using those pieces. Okay, one of the things, I'm a coach. I do a lot of coaching in my business. People say, well, you know, what's your primary way to monetize? I get on the phone, I only work with 5 private clients at a time. I've been busy for the last 2 years, and I do not market. I don't send out I don't blast my list and go, please call me to be your coach. I don't send, I don't put on Twitter, I want to be your coach. People call me, and they say, do you have an opening? And if I do, I work with them. So that's how I run my business. That's how I make my money, and it's a really nice way to make some money. And so in my coaching, I work with people on the different skills that they need, and it's amazing to me that people are so concerned about, well, what do I do and how do I go about it? Pick the skill that you need. Find somebody who knows how to do it. Learn what you need to learn. Outsource the rest. It's really that simple. Right? It's not complicated. What we do is not complicated, is it? It's very simple. People make it way harder than it has to be. It helps when you have a mentor. So my book goes through a lot of cool things. I have my model in there. I wrote a quiz. I wrote a confidence quiz. That's so fun. 10 questions to show, like, how confident are you? And if you're not so confident, I give you some tips on how do you develop that. How to boost credibility for greater cash flow. 6 of the most highly effective, budget-friendly, even free ways to effectively spread your message. I've talked about them today. How you use social media, including Twitter, to expand and reach exponentially, and a whole bunch more. So this is my book. Now, as I said, I didn't know I was going to be here. Thursday, I launched a group coaching program. I relaunched it, really. I've been delivering on this program to my members since about February, and we meet multiple times. One of the reasons I developed this is because I wanted to kind of replicate myself. As I said, I only work with 5 clients. And I had a lot of people saying, well, gosh, I wish I could. And you know, right now, things are hard for people. They're trying to figure out, well, how am I going to spend money? And I want to talk to someone, and I want somebody to be my coach or be my mentor, but they charge $5,000. I don't know how I'm going to buy food or pay for my rent or my mortgage, let alone now I've got to explain this away. So I came up with a way that people could have direct access to somebody who is where they want to be. Now, Dave is not going to be in my program.
Why?
Well, you could if you want. I'm an equal opportunity gender person. I'm happy for men and women to succeed. I really am.
What was that like about you? Communication people.
So, I work with, because communication is not gender related. In fact, I taught a gender class. I'm published in the academic field. I have a chapter in a book called Gender and Race and Gender in the Media. So, that's my area of expertise, in fact, is gender communications and interpersonal relationships. And I've leveraged that for my business so that I can use that, right? I have 5 clients. That's all the clients I need to keep my business going. Think about, in your business, for those of you who are following what I call the expert model, if you're putting yourself out there as an expert, those are the people that I help the most. If you want to if you want to be an affiliate marketer and you want to do that cool thing that Jason was showing you guys about building blogs and selling them, that's so cool. Go do that. I work with people who are experts. They know something. They are smart people. I love that. I love the people I work with because they're smart. I love smart people. They know something. They have a message that they want to get out to the world. And they don't know how to do it. Those are the people that I best serve. Typically, they're people who work out of their homes. They have small businesses. I do work with other folks who have small businesses outside of their homes. Doctors and dentists and chiropractors and so forth. They're experts. Okay, I work with a lot of coaches and consultants and speakers or people who want to be speakers. They just don't know how to get their messages out. And so those are the people, virtual assistants, all these groups, web designers, graphic designers, people who they want clients. And so I show them multiple streams of income. How do you make money while being an expert? How do you go to places and hang out and they say, oh gosh, I'm struggling with this. Put together a teleclass and have them pay you money to do that. And then now you've got a product and you can sell that product every day and night on the internet. It's so cool when you wake up and you get that sale in your inbox. Who's had that happen? Isn't that fun?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that fun? You turn it on, it comes in and you see the thing. You have a payment. I have on my, this is a fun thing to do. If you're just getting started or you don't have that happen a lot, I finally had to turn it off because I'll tell you why. I have a ka-ching sound. And so you can set your Outlook, Microsoft Outlook, you can set it to make that ka-ching come in. And so every time the ka-ching came in, my little girls would be like, what is that noise? And so I said, well, that noise means, it's a cash register ka-ching. Well, it means that mommy made money. So, they would hear the ka-ching no matter where they are in the house, and there's a cheer that goes up from my little girls. They go, yay, mommy made money! Oh, fun, turn off because I was, way too much. I said, okay, girls, keep doing what you're doing.
They got a video
Run
of
it in.
that. Yeah, the video of
Oh,
that.
they're so cute.
YouTube.
They're so cute. Oh, so anyway, so that it's just really cool. So if that's the way that you want to make money, I can best serve you. And as I said, I've been doing this membership program. I launched it the other day. It's $95 or $97 a month. That's what I charge. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to put together a program. And what we do is there's a monthly private group teleseminar. So I teach a topic once a month. That's included. I also do a monthly question and answer teleseminar where you come and you can ask questions. And I coach people live on the phone. I'll spend however long you need to coach you through something, whatever it happens to be, live on the phone. And for those of you who've worked with a coach before, if you work with somebody who knows how to get to the heart of the matter, you can resolve something very quickly and very easily. That's what I do. That's a skill that I have. So I help people on the phone, so you get that monthly. Every single week, I do a group text chat. I'm stepping out again real quickly. You want to make sure that you're addressing multiple learning modalities. Fancy teacher way of saying people learn different ways. So some people learn listening, some people learn through reading, some people learn through watching, some people learn through just connecting. So you have to be able to interact with people on multiple levels. Okay, back in, that's what this program does. So the text chat is for people who like to read, who want something that looks like a book. So I do a text chat every single week. So I work with my private clients every single week. There's not a lot of difference. People show up, you ask your questions, I answer the questions, okay? Except they're not paying my regular $650 a month in this program. They're paying $97 a month. I have an audio library, article library. I've got over 100 articles of really useful stuff. Remember that article I said with the 10 things that are really important skills? That might be something you might want to know. I facilitated getting the people who are members into a mastermind group. And so they have their own they have their own masterminds. So they're with, Dave talks about the power of 6. There are 3 or 4 other people that get together and they meet and talk about their businesses and where they are with each other and help each other and lift each other up and share each other's contacts and information. It's a powerful thing to do. If you're not masterminding with someone right now, take the opportunity this weekend, follow up with some of the people you've met and mastermind with them. Invite them to be in a group that you talk regularly. It's a powerful way. The people in this program are like-minded individuals. It's important to find people who think the way you think, but who are smarter. Dave, what is it? Smarter or?
Equal to or better.
Equal to or better at what you do.
Or complementary.
Or complementary. Those are the people you want to be masterminding with. You get all kinds of stuff with the program. I ran a couple of programs called the Resolutions Results Program for Business. I ran a Resolutions Results Program the year before, so that's like 24 weeks of content, really solid content about basic systems you need to have in your business. Anything about, the new year comes along, we've got all these goals, how do you reach them? So there's goal attainment stuff in this program. It's a very comprehensive program designed very specifically for people who are kind of lost and kind of feeling like, what do I do next? Okay, you need to find somebody who can say, here's the roadmap. That's what this program is. It's a roadmap with instructions. It's a roadmap with instructions. So if that's you, I'd like to invite you to join. It's $97 a month, but I'm going to give you 6 months for $297. If you want to be in, I'd love to have you. It's I'm not going to do, but wait, there's more or any of that junk. It's like I said, I didn't know I was going to be here. If you join, I'll give you my book, an autographed copy of the book. There's the book. Wait, there's more. You get an autographed copy of the book, and then the book will be out in the end of October. So I will have that to you, and so you get a free book, 6 months of that regular access. If that sounds like you, I'd love to hear from you, so you can fill that out. If you just want the book, fill that out. And I make sure that everybody gets the book. So it's $10 for the book. I'm on the pre-order. And my name is Felicia Slattery, and I just want to say thank you so much for having me.